I did not know that I wanted to become a photographer. When I came back to America, I was an American citizen, and my mother and father died, and so I really grew up alone. The uncle was very abusive. So I stopped in Rome to get my passport to come back to America in 1939. So while I was in Rome waiting a few days for the passport, because what they do is they get in touch with Washington, make a request for a passport. So I had a week's time. So I stayed in Rome. One of the things that I did when I was in Rome was to go and visit all the museum. In the Museum of the Vatican, there was a torso. No head, no arms, no legs, just a torso. And the torso was Greek, from the Anaxagoras, the greatest Greek sculptor, had made it. And I said, wow, I gotta become a sculptor. So I began to sculpt. And I made 10 people, American people like Jefferson, Washington, Lincoln, who created America, because even though I was a child, I knew that the concept of America was the greatest nation in the world. I knew that this is something unique. So then, of course, I found out that one of my favorite Italian writers was Machiavelli. I loved his work. His book, The Story of Florence, you should read it. It's one of the greatest things ever written. So I wanted to, but all of this, it was that Greek torso that made me want to become an artist. And I should become, I said, a sculptor. But then I made these about a dozen of American great men, Benjamin Franklin, Washington, Lincoln, And Lincoln was so good, I made out of clay, that when the class was over that day, I took it home to show it to my sisters. So next morning, when I went back to school, kids had destroyed all the others with knives, because it was clay, you see. And the reason Lincoln was, I only have Lincoln because I took it with me to my sister. And here is Lincoln, made in 1941.
By Tony Vaccaro. My goodness gracious.
You see?
Wow. Let me just take a snapshot. Let's talk about this statue.
So
this is an amazing statue. What talent you had.
So
how old were you then?
16, 17.
Wow.
Yeah.
16 or 17-year-old Tony Vaccaro does a fabulous statue. Wow. Whoa.
Yeah. So then I showed this to my teacher, and I was very unhappy because the other kids had destroyed all my work. And the other teacher said, well, Tony, if you don't feel at easy with as a sculptor. We will have this year and the next 2-3 years, I will be giving lessons in photography. Do you like photography? Photography was nowhere in my mind at all. But when he said it, suddenly it was like, I said, wow, photography. And so I took photography under him, and it turned out to be just the right thing.
Being a photojournalist turned out to be the right thing.
The right thing, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because then when I was drafted in the army, I began to take pictures, and one day I had an exhibition, and the editor of Stars and Stripes, Ken Zumwalt, came to me and said, how about becoming a photographer for Stars and Stripes? I said, wow, and I became a photographer.
Well, what's interesting, Tony, is that at that early age you were doing something with presidents.
Yes.
And something that appreciated history.
Yes.
And so much of what you have done in your career as a photojournalist really shows that appreciation that you have for history, for presidents.
For mankind, the growth of mankind.
And the leaders, the people who were number one.
Number one.
There's a number one man right there, Abraham Lincoln.
Yes,
and
I did it.
And you did it. And that was a beautiful statue that you've got in your hands.
It will end up, I'm sure, in a museum somewhere.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And you can see it all around, how I worked it. You see, he has a thing in the back. I even that made. 2 things. He had one here and one here. Here.
That's
how do you call those? Pimple? I don't know.
No, my camera is not focusing. There we go. Yeah. You show him as
the way he was
strong, and how much respect you had is for him.
Yes.
In that statue.
Yes. He's serious. Thank you.
And so many presidents and kings and queens that you have photographed in 70 years of photojournalism.
Yeah.
That same appreciation for people who are leaders comes out. You see, sitting back over there to the left of him is a statue. I don't think you did that, but Rodin's the Thinker.
Oh yeah, the Thinker. Yes. No, I didn't do it. A friend of mine did. She threw it away, and I took it out of the wastebasket.
You're kidding.
Yes. Oh, I thought I had photographs here.
So let's come back to your trip to France and your reflections on it this time through, because they really took you through first the camp that you were at in England.
Yes.
And that was the first time you've been back there.
Yes, the first time. Yes.
Since the war.
I've been there now twice.
Twice.
Yes, and no, this is not that book. No, we could put it away. But by the way, I have 60
books like that
of these books.
With the what they call C prints, I think.
Contact prints.
Contact prints, yes, C prints.
Yes.
Contact prints.
But to to give you an idea of, and this is, I did these in 1949, from June 49, and I want to show you. They're not just pictures, you see.
Let's first look at how well you catalog these and organize them, because you have everything dated.
Yes, this is sheet number 954.
Yes, and they're dated and they have notations on them.
Yes.
And let's go back to the front page, because I think that you have an index in there in the front.
Yes, yes.
And how well you've kept these things. I mean, you're clearly
Yes.
a professional. This is
So it begins,
what professionals do.
It begins with Bonefro, my village in Italy, and that's page 901. This there's over 800 there, and it goes as far as 1025. And who is this? Roloff Benny, Herzl Emanuel, Antonio Tapies. Let me see if I have a great human being here. Tamayo was a famous painter. The look photographers I have here. Roberto Cripa, an Italian painter, Enrico. Just, I see a lost glove in the sand, and look how many pictures I took of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Well, look at the wind on that tree that you got.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Things that, you know.
So these are all going over to
Yeah.
your
This
museum.
is Paris. Yeah, all of these go to this museum.
And you have the
This is it.
you have the negatives for all these.
Oh, yes.
And what went up into Rochester? Rochester was doing something. Did they scan all these?
They
Rochester Polytech?
They scan enlargements, not these.
Not these.
Yes, and they scanned transparencies.
So they have the whole library of your transparencies that
No,
were available?
only that would take a long time to do it all. They did. I would say, about 1,000, just the best. Yeah.
Well, history will determine what the real bests are of all of these thousands and thousands
Yes,
of photographs
yes.
that you've produced.
In all probability, I will give everything to the Museum of the City of New York. I love New York.
So all of this won't be going to Italy?
Yes, all of this goes to Italy, but the negatives, they will not go to Italy.
They'll stay here in the city of New York.
They have to stay in America. My America was good to my father, to my mother, and to me. So, and I was good to America also. I was a good soldier. I was proud to be a soldier. I was proud to be an American. So, I am a member of the press corps, foreign press, and he is the president of the foreign press. And he did this on
I think I met him with you when we went to the to that
you met him?
to that event.
Nice man.
I think I met him with you.
Yes. And he did this story. I don't like that dark page, but some of my pictures. This is me here. This one. And that's my first month in the Army. This was in Centerville, Mississippi, 1943. Here I am in Brittany. Here I am in Germany.
And where was this article? What was the magazine it appeared in?
It appeared Long Island City.
Oh, sure. I did meet him. Yeah. I did meet him.
Yeah, these are not mine. I am on the other side. Oh, I guess that something is missing. Where the hell are they? Oh, here. Here. With my Legion of Honor medal. It should be right here. There's other pictures too. Okay, here. So this is basically the layout. This picture. This. Nothing here, and nothing here. So just this, like that. So, and this method of putting contacts, I invented it myself, because
To organize them and catalog them.
I did all of that over the years, you know.
Yeah, it's right here.
No, I want to get another so you can see another.
There's another one here, Tony. That.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Usually is now things look disorganized.
Only because you're getting ready to ship them off.
That's one thing, but the owner of the house told me to take everything out of the cellar.
Oh.
So I brought everything.
You had to bring it all up here. Yeah, I remember that was downstairs.
Yes.
So again, on your trip, your reflections of France now, today, and how you were seeing it today versus how you were seeing it then?
In France, they have a Tony Vaccaro museum in a town called Rennes, R-E-N-N. By the way, that's where the famous 24-hour race, motorcar race, takes place. Rennes has a hall that can take 2 million people, and it's called the Eisenhower Hall. And let me see if I can show you.
Coincidentally named after General Eisenhower.
After General Eisenhower.
And our president.
Yeah. I never cared for Eisenhower. The man that really left something on me was General Patton.
General Patton. Mm-hmm.
Eisenhower kind of ridiculed Patton, but to me, Patton was the man. I remember once Stars and Stripes sent me to take a picture of General Patton cutting the ribbon of the first American library for GIs in occupied Germany. And it was in a town called Passau. It so happens that I was sleeping in that castle. It was a castle. And the library was on the first floor of this castle. At a certain point, my speed graphic that is up there failed the picture. The flash went off, but the focal plane shutter, the front shutter worked, but the focal plane shutter in the back didn't go. So I had two flash bulbs. So I threw the first flash bulb away, so I have another bulb. I do the same thing, and the camera didn't failed me. So I said, General Patton, I am sorry my camera didn't work. It so happened that upstairs in my room I have a Leica. I'm going to go and get it. So I go up, it was the 15th of August, 1945. I never forget that day. So I run down again, and I'm all sweat, you could see, because it was August 15, and the war was over since June, you see. So I arrived there, and when I failed the picture of the Gordon that he was going to cut, so then he decided to take a book from the library. This was going to be a library for GIs to go get a book, during the occupation of Germany. So he took a book, he opened it, and I clicked, and the damn flash didn't synchronize. So I went up, I came down, and when I came down, he says, "Take it easy, son. I still have another chapter to go."
That's a great story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that my camera is giving me a little difficulty with focusing. So,
Yes.
Tony Vaccaro, you're an amazing man, and I really appreciate your taking the time to tell the stories to the people who need to know them, and really enjoy hearing what you've accomplished and how you view your life and the contribution of your work as a photojournalist. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.